Good morning. You're joining us live here on India Today's social media handles. I'm Akshita Nandagopal, getting you a roundup of all the top stories that we're tracking this Monday morning. If you live in Delhi, you're woken up to a very, very rainy morning after a long time, what feels like a lifetime, especially with how temperatures have gone up in the last 1 week. So from 45 degrees, the temperatures come down to about 19 degrees in parts of Delhi, according to the Met Department, because of the rains and the thunderstorms that have been reported over the last few hours in Delhi. It's brought with it its own share of problems, of course. So while the temperatures have gone down, there's also been a focus on the infrastructural mess in Delhi and the fact that clearly the capital isn't geared up for the monsoon or rains at all. It's not just in Delhi, but in the entire national capital region that we're seeing right now images that are coming in of huge traffic snarls, of traffic congestion, of road blockages due to trees being uprooted and inundation as well. And this is, mind you, in a matter of hours of rainfall in the national capital. So while it's been a welcome respite from the heat, it's put the focus again on what kind of preparations have been done on the ground for the monsoon. I can tell you, as someone who drove to work this morning, that it is pretty bad out there, especially in the midst of the storm when wind speeds really were picking up. As a lot of trees that were uprooted, that were falling on the road. So a word of caution for all the Delhiites watching this broadcast. It's the same story almost every single year. Come the rains, come this mess that we've brought every single time. We're getting you those latest ground reports, and it's not just restricted to Delhi, is it? This is a story that perhaps every Indian resonates with. If you live in any of the cities that sees heavy rainfall, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that, in a few hours, things completely take a turn for the worse in every single road. There's always some reports of inundation, of problems, of traffic snarls and congestion that are reported every single time there's a downpour or a shower in the country. So we're going to be getting you the latest ground reports here on India Today on the Delhi rains. As I mentioned, for all of us living in the national capital, it's been a welcome break from the heat. And according to the Met Department, it's going to remain like this for the next few days, in the sense that at least temperatures will come down. Flight operations also have been hit because of the storm that hit the national capital at the Indira Gandhi International Airport. You saw about 140 flights in all being affected, operations being affected in the sense there were delays as well as cancellations that have been reported in the last few hours. So we'll be getting you the latest communications that are coming from the Met Department as well as the airport authorities, and as I mentioned, the latest ground reports. All right, let me tell you what's happened over the weekend. One of the big headlines was about the relief that we received while the fuel prices being cut. That is the excise duty that was cut by the central government by about 6 rupees with petrol and 8 rupees by diesel. Huge respite for all of us, of course, especially keeping in mind that in the last few months, we've been receiving nothing but bad news as far as petrol and diesel prices are concerned, and with it going up every single time. But look, from the centre's announcement, the focus is essentially shifted to what state governments are doing about this, and whether they're going ahead and following suit by cutting VAT. Several BJP states have definitely followed suit. As far as the non-BJP states are concerned, it's still a big talking point. There are 3 states in all: Kerala, Maharashtra, as well as Rajasthan, who've gone ahead and announced a cut in VAT, and it's provided, of course, huge relief for the citizens of these states. But what about the other non-BJP ruled states? Well, it doesn't look likely that many of them are going to follow suit, because some of them are saying that the centre is to blame for that. The Chhattisgarh Chief Minister has in fact questioned the central government, has said that there should have been a communication about this, and there's been several such comments that have been made so far about this particular move by the central government. You've got, in fact, the Tamil Nadu finance minister also saying that the centre has cut this at the price of the state, that the states will have to pay the price for this particular decision. So a lot of reactions that have come in, particularly with several opposition parties saying that, look, this is the BJP going ahead and taking a decision without consulting any of the states, attempting damage control for all of the price rise that we've been witnessing and the inflation that is hitting the country right now, thanks to the Ukraine war, courtesy of what's happening internationally and the geopolitical order. But right now, today, we're going to be focusing on which states actually go ahead and follow suit and announce relief for the common man. You can get more details here on India Today on our social media handle. handles if you're wondering what the current fuel price is in your state, in your city, and if your state government has also announced any sort of respite or relief. Those details are also up on India Today's social media handles and on our website. Before I wrap up this broadcast, I just want to tell you about another story that we'll be tracking through the day, and that's the Prime Minister's visit to Japan. Big headlines that are expected to emerge from this visit. It's for 2 days, a 48-hour visit in Tokyo, where Prime Minister Modi is going to be interacting with the Indian business community, with top CEOs of Japan, and of course the big moment that we're all going to be talking about and focusing on is the Quad Summit. He landed in Tokyo at about 4 a.m. this morning Indian time, and there are images from that welcome that are going viral already, because you had a huge Indian diaspora present. There were some very interesting and rather adorable interactions between the Prime Minister and some Japanese children who'd learnt a couple of lines of Hindi and then narrated that to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister was seen signing autographs for them. So all those interactions, those snippets you can catch here on our social media handles as well. But beyond that, as far as the takeaways are concerned, the Quad Summit that's going to happen tomorrow in Tokyo is going to be a big talking point. Prime Minister Modi's bilateral with the US President Joe Biden is going to be another big focus area. And besides that, he's also going to be meeting with Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, as well as the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, who's taken oath just today. So he's the newly elected Australian Prime Minister. So that's also going to be another big focus area. So those bilaterals, besides the second in-person Quad Summit that's happening tomorrow, is going to be spoken about. We're going to be seeing what really comes off the Quad Summit, because what we're hearing is that there are a number of issues. The war in Ukraine, of course, going to be a big talking point. As far as India's foreign policy is concerned, every country here that's part of the Quad has recognized what India's foreign policy is, our ties with Russia, etc. So don't really expect any sort of friction on that front. It's only going to essentially reinstate India's ties with these countries. And the Prime Minister's visit, his bonhomie with these world leaders, is something that's also going to be talked about. The China challenge in the Indo-Pacific is something that will be spoken about in great detail at the Quad Summit, because it's been one of the focus areas of all of these countries as well. So that's going to be interesting to see what really emerges from that COVID aftermath, what it means for the economy. That's going to be discussed as well. So rest assured, here on India Today, we're getting you the most comprehensive coverage from Tokyo with our reporters on the ground, and the big takeaways from the Prime Minister's whirlwind tour of Tokyo. That's all I have time for on this broadcast. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day ahead. Same time tomorrow, I'll be joining you with all the top stories.